The days of asking, "Did it hurt when you fell from heaven?" are over. Modern romance has evolved into something more technical, specifically a strategy involving Cartesian coordinates and probability theory. This is the era of Rizz. Mathematics is typically viewed as a sterile academic discipline. It is entirely objective, variables do not have feelings, and equations do not care about heartbreak. These qualities make it an unlikely tool for seduction. But in a viral skit from a YouTube channel Sarcaster, a suitor attempts to court his partner using pure calculus and geometry. We are going to submit this mathematical proposal to a rigorous academic peer review to see if these equations actually balance. If these algebraic puns hold up to scrutiny, it suggests that extreme logic might provide a highly effective language for communicating human emotion. The suitor's opening move addresses the concept of the x. He claims he does not want to be a variable x that must be found or solved for, but rather the x-axis itself. The horizontal x-axis serves as the necessary baseline. While a single x point flashes erratically across the grid, the axis remains a fixed structural requirement. It stays grounded, absorbing pressure so the corresponding y variable can ascend toward infinity. By redefining the letter x from a missing value into a structural axis, the suitor re-engineers the concept of a past relationship into a foundational support system. The girl pushes back, warning that she might be irrational. The suitor counters that while rational people are simple, irrational numbers like pi make life interesting. Mathematically speaking, a rational number is predictable. It can be expressed as a simple fraction that resolves into either a terminating decimal or a repeating pattern. An irrational number like pi behaves differently. It erupts into a sequence of digits that continue infinitely without ever falling into a predictable repeating loop. The suitor's logic really tracks. In both data sets and relationships, a completely predictable pattern eventually becomes monotonous. Infinite, non-repeating complexity is the mechanism that prevents a system from becoming stagnant. The proposal then uses a bilingual pun. He says he has a lot of pyar, the Hindi word for love, which sounds like pi-r. This geometrically creates a C for circumference, which doubles as a Hindi slang term for a fool. He immediately pivots, redefining C as a mathematical constant. By declaring her his constant, he attempts to lock the equation so that no other external variables can change her value. She then tests the trajectory of his feelings, asking if his love is linear or exponential. Linear growth is a steady, predictable climb, but exponential growth accelerates based on its own expanding value. It multiplies against its own current state, eventually diverging and curving violently upward toward infinity. If we accept the constant logic, it creates a closed system where external variables are excluded. This allows the emotional growth to compound on itself without interruption, scaling according to the exponential rules he proposed. When asked what happens if the probability of losing her reaches 0, the suitor calls it impossible. He claims she is the entire sample space. In probability theory, a sample space contains all possible outcomes. If a set is defined to contain only one outcome, the mathematical probability of that outcome occurring resolves to exactly 1, or 100%. He concludes with a final geometric metaphor. He is the radius, and she is the center point. Geometrically, a radius is a line segment that extends from the center to the perimeter. This means that no matter how far the suitor travels along the circumference, he remains mathematically tethered to the origin point. The skit ends on a cliffhanger. To receive her final answer, the suitor must solve a written equation she has prepared for him. This peer review suggests that mathematical principles provide a specific vocabulary for describing complex human dynamics. Mathematics is the study of relationships, how variables interact, how forces balance, and how constants provide a foundation in a changing system. When human connection is modeled as an interaction between unstable variables, a balanced equation becomes a precise, if eccentric, method of articulating commitment. Now we just have to see if he can actually solve for y.